Lūdzam Steve Keil ar lekciju Cilvēcība, nākotnes, pārmaiņu un inovāciju pamats, jeb Humanity as the Foundation for Future Change and Innovation.
Please
Steve,
welcome Steve.
the stage is yours.
Thanks, mate. Thrilled. All right. Everybody, we're here. Do I have a clicker? I have no clicker. Green. Okay, we're here to talk about the future, innovation. This is a conference about that. But I want to do that by first looking at the past. And I want to look at the past through the lens of humanity. I'm going to call this speech Team Human. We had visions in the past. We had audacity. In 1967, we dreamed of flying cars, of cities. What we actually built was the Ford Mustang, but we dreamed of flying cars and cities in the sky. In 2015, sure, we had a Tesla. Kind of looked like the Ford Mustang. But we also had the Ford Mustang, which looks a lot like the Ford Mustang of 1967. It didn't happen. Our dreams failed. We dreamed of vacations on Mars, the moon. It hasn't happened yet. Instead, what do we have? Vacations on beaches filled with pollution. We dreamed of limitless energy, of perpetual motion machines. We were going to solve the world's energy problems, but it hasn't happened yet. In fact, we've utterly failed. What do we have? More pollution, more extraction of our resources, of the poor dead dinosaurs, and Fukushima probably will come out to be the worst disaster of human history. It hasn't happened yet. We dreamed of universal health care, of tricorder machines that could diagnose everything and solve our problems. There wouldn't be health issues. These are our dreams in 1967. It hasn't happened yet. Not even close. What do we have now? Struggling still with malaria and more disease and more problems than ever before. Stressed with our 7 billion population. Sure, there's a little progress here with pharmaceutical and a little progress there, but 300,000 people a day still die from malaria. We have failed. We dreamed of an abundance of food. Everyone was going to eat. It wasn't going to be a problem. Those were our dreams. We dreamed about pills. You could just swallow your food in a pill. There's my steak in a little pill. There's my eggs. There's my spinach. We failed. It hasn't happened yet. Not even close. Instead, what do we have? More hunger, more starvation than we've ever dealt with. Sure, we have more people, but we haven't scaled the problems and the solutions. We dreamed that the machines would take over our work. There would be a distribution of benefit. We would have more time to sit on the beach, relaxing. It hasn't happened yet, has it? Those beaches are empty. We're more stressed. We're more connected. We have less time to freely think. We're working harder. It hasn't happened yet. Not even close. All of those visions we've had have failed. Okay, Steve, but what about these new visions? We've got new visions, right? We've done some things. Maybe you're wrong. What about the internet? It's amazing. Well, yes, the internet's amazing. Didn't reach this audacity of dreams, but it's amazing. But haven't we kind of subjugated it? Hasn't it been perverted by consumerism, by corporations, by governments? Isn't it now a tool to spy on you, to feed you more of the line? Yes and no. It's okay. You could say, hey, but Steve, isn't everyone better off than 200 years ago? We've been told that all the time. We're better off. Kind of, but it's still a master-slave arrangement, isn't it? Sure, you're better off if you were digging ditches for your slave lord owners rather than going to the gas chambers, you're better off. If you're doing menial labor instead of digging ditches, you're better off. But isn't it relative? Couldn't we have imagined more? Didn't we imagine more? We were going to be on that beach. There was going to be distribution of benefit. Yeah, we're better off, but it's a little bit relative, isn't it? How much better off are we based on what we could have been? Okay, Steve, but what about the new visions we have? Artificial intelligence. We heard from cyborgs and the future with AI and robotics and machinery. Artificial intelligence is going to solve all of our problems. It's going to think faster, diagnose things faster, act faster. We're going to have better health care. The singularity is going to happen, and it's going to make everybody benefit. Machines, robotics, are going to take over all that menial labor, and we're going to benefit. This was the same question posed in the 1950s by Norbert Wiener. He was the inventor of cybernetics. He had the same question 67 years ago. And that question was what? When robots finally till our lands and do our labor, will we be on the beach sipping lemonade, benefiting from the distribution of labor and all these amazing augmentation of humanity? Enjoying the sweats of our labor and relaxing? Or, instead, will the paucity of jobs create chaos in the economy where you and I, as humans, are forced to compete with our more efficient, speedier, more productive, artificial intelligent robotic counterparts? That's the question he asked, and it's the same question I want to ask every single one of you. Which one do you believe it's going to be? Are we all going to be on the beach sipping lemonade because the distribution of wealth is going to go to us? Or is there going to be a paucity of jobs and chaos in the economy and more suffering? I'm not optimistic. I'm stressed about this. And I'm stressed about this because the system itself has been created by the elite. Our values, the system, the economics, the society, our ethics are created by the elite, and their values of the 0.01%, it's not even the 1%, are wealth and power. These are not, I think, constructive values for which to build a society on. So then we can say, how did this happen? Why have we failed in the last 67 years to do all of these visions? Why isn't there an abundance of food? And in some places there is. Isn't there abundance of food in the United States? And yet they burn crops. There's an abundance of housing and they tear down houses. Because why? Because people who don't have a job shouldn't be able to have them because they can't afford them? And in some places there's not. We need to drill down into the past because the past affects us now. We have to look at the problems, where this originated. And I want to do that first before we move into the future. I think there's at least six broad areas where we have some issues from our past. The first is imperialism. This has fundamentally affected the West and everyone else. It's, hey, UK, hey, Belgium, hey, Germany, let's go to South Africa and kill brown people and take a bunch of ivory and gold and bring it back. Let's just go beat them up. These are our values. Hey, United States, hey, Hamilton and Jefferson, let's go on the Trail of Tears and just beat up all the Native Americans and take all their land and their wealth. Let's just kill millions, tens, hundreds of millions. This was the history of imperialism. It is our history of the West. Let's extract the wealth from other places and bring it back. Imperialism, make no doubt, is a history of extraction of wealth. And that hasn't gone away. That's moved into the Industrial Revolution. Hey, let's make these big factory jobs. Let's move you from entrepreneurship and family business and make this deal. We're going to trade stability. Hey, you get a wage. For slavery, you do what you tell us, we tell you. You come in at 9, you clock out at 5, you do exactly this, this, and this. We kill craft, we kill innovation, we kill passion, we kill small business, but hey, you're stable. What else did that do, though? That created an invisible wedge for the first time ever between buyers and sellers. The Industrial Revolution came with the shipping revolution. For the first time, somebody over in China or Germany or wherever can be selling me in Bulgaria, whatever it is. There's no longer a face-to-face, a tete-a-tete. There's no longer personal responsibility between my product and you as the buyer. Who cares if my apples are full of MSG or pollutants, or if my beef has got hormones and pesticides and everything, all this stuff, and who cares? I'm never going to meet you. I don't care about you. I care about selling my stuff. It drove an invisible wedge between us and created a completely different dynamic. It was the epitaph in many ways of entrepreneurialism. Yeah, you've been told, oh, we're more entrepreneurial now than ever. That's baloney. There were no corporations until a few hundred years ago. It was all small businesses. And what happened with that was the end of innovation, growth. Think about this. When you're a small business, a family business, you're a blacksmith, a cobbler, a farmer, or whatever, how did you grow your business? By having more kids. Your great-great-great-grandparents had like 5 kids, 6 kids. How many do we have now on average in Germany, for example? 1.5? That's negative population. You had more kids because that's how you grew your business. You were focused on your business. Your business was you. You had a personal responsibility. The people took their names from their business. John Smith, Bill Fisher. Popular names because that was their business, that was their reputation, that's what they believed in, and this is how they grew. Then what happened? Oh no, with the Industrial Revolution, it's no longer let's have more kids, let's grow, let's innovate. It's how many kids can I have based on my salary? What kind of mortgage can I afford based on my salary? This is constricting rather than growing. The third is the corruption of capitalism. And make no mistake, it's corrupt. This guy, Milton Friedman, is considered like, oh, he's so amazing. And he said there's one and only one social responsibility of business, to use its resources to engage in activities designed to increase profit. I went to MBA school, sadly. Now I wish I didn't. And I was told that. The purpose of business is profit. Milton Friedman, he's amazing, right? Then we have these values on capitalism, that profit is life, that everything's about profit. Extraction is okay. Let's just extract wealth from our planet. It's okay we're killing it. It's all for profit. Growth is paramount. Grow, 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 right? There's only one thing in life that I know of that extracts and kills its host with amazing exponential growth, which is cancer. Is that what we want to model our business and success after? And look at the results. Income disparity, wealth disparity. It's the biggest in history, ever since recorded history. It's not going in positive places. We have been brainwashed. Milton Friedman was an asshole. This guy, Adam Smith, who wrote the book on capitalism, what did he say? The wise and virtuous man is at all times willing that his own private interest should be sacrificed to the public interest. He wrote the book on capitalism. We have been screwed. It has been corrupted. If there's a choice between profit at the expense of society and community, choose society and community over profit. That's what the original goal of capitalism was. Now, it's just money. Fourth, the corruption of education. Education used to be about critical thinking, about fighting back, about challenging the system. Now, it's about following process. Education is about job readiness. Rather than critical thinking and challenging stuff, we're just going to get you a good job. I don't know if many of you know this, but the universities themselves, in the United States at least, and that system is unfortunately leaked into the West, was designed by this guy who was paid by the US government, Elwood Cubberley. And I kid you not, look it up. His mandate was to design a university system to create mediocre intellects for a docile citizenry. Sheep, you and me. And it starts even earlier than university, though, doesn't it? Susan Slater, just a random teacher from the United States, but I have a lot of friends there who are teachers who tell me the same thing. I'm going to read you this quote. When I first began teaching more than 25 years ago, hands-on exploration, investigation, joy, and the love of learning characterized the early childhood classroom. I would describe our current period as a time of testing, data collection, competition, and punishment. One would be hard-pressed these days to find joy in the classroom. No wonder we're fucking stupid. I have come to believe that the opposite of education is not ignorance. It's not knowing things. Today, the opposite of education is critical thinking. What a shame. And the fifth, the technology revolution. And you can say, oh gosh, Steve, come on, that was supposed to equalize and augment humanity. The technology revolution was going to solve that. It was going to be better than the Industrial Revolution. Okay, Facebook. It's going to connect us. It's going to give us a bunch of friends. It's going to be amazing. That's what the story was that we were sold. What's the reality that we've bought? Hook, line, and sinker. Oh, I know it's small, but income games widely shared in post-war only haven't been shared since. Now, since 1970 onwards, 1980 more likely, the technology revolution, greater and greater gaps. And look at this, the pay ratio between CEOs, our little 0.1% elite, and us, in 1980, 42 to 1. Now, 347 to 1. Oh, thanks, technology revolution. You really promised and fulfilled on that one. June 8th, just a little while ago. It used to be 20, then 10, then 8, then 6, and as of June 8th, 5 people in the world own over 50% of the wealth. 5. Oh, and what about the machines and robotics? Surely that'll solve it as part of the technology revolution. Okay, let's look at last year. Foxconn, the guys who make iPhones and Samsung phones and motherboards, they cut 60,000 jobs in one day and replaced them with robots. Huh. And then they wrote this, and you probably can't read it, but I'm going to read the highlighted thing for you. They quote, and this is an interview from the BBC. Many of the manufacturing tasks associated with our operations are cut, but they denied it meant long-term job losses. What the hell else did it mean? They just fired 60,000 people. But no, it doesn't mean long-term job losses. Shame on us for no longer challenging their crap. The BBC reporter didn't even ask a question. Well, what do you mean it doesn't mean long-term? They just fired 60,000 people. What about artificial intelligence? Okay, sure. What the heck? So let's take Uber. What are they? Stated goal. Autonomous vehicles. So what are we doing now? We're Uber drivers sitting around helping build their algorithms so they can put us out of a job? How insulting is that? Really? And what about this? I don't know if any of you have seen this, but you're at a grocery store and there's an automated checkout and there's somebody there training you how to use it? That's the worst job I could think of. It's insulting and strange. What the hell is happening? Universal income, you can say, oh, this is a cool liberal idea. And oh my God, Mark Zuckerberg's talking about it. Really? I actually like the idea if it wasn't part of the system. The fact that he's talking about it, a company whose goal is to extract wealth from us, and a company who itself is avoiding all taxes, is talking about universal income? What? So that government can print money for us to buy his crap? Where's that money coming from then? Because he himself, his company, isn't paying taxes. And in case you think I'm picking on him, okay, design cool Apple. Well, they're not paying their taxes either, are they? No, do no evil Google. Oh, looks like they're not paying their taxes either. Oh God, Amazon, the deliver consumption company, they're not paying their taxes either. So where is that actually going to come from? Oh, you. It's coming from you. They are hypocrites. The system itself is corrupt. The values of the system are utterly corrupt. And what does that do? It means it gives us values that wealth is success, that extraction versus peer-to-peer value creation should be the thing, that consumerism versus community is a great thing, buy, that we put up with people like Volkswagen and GM with ignition problems and corruption, which they know happens, that kills hundreds of people, and they just pay a fine. What is the value of life? What are we putting up with? Which leads me to human behavior. Because our brain hard codes for what's happening, for this history. We're accepting this and we're coding it. It's a process I call insidious, meaning sneaky, crystallization, the hard coding of our brain. We come to say, oh yeah, for the last few hundred years, this is the way it's been, so everything is awesome. I want to give you a quick story about the monkeys and how they catch monkeys. How they catch monkeys is this. They take some food and they put it in a coconut and they drill a little hole. The hole is big enough for the monkey to put his hand in, okay? But when he makes a little fist to grab the food, he can't pull his hand out. But rather than drop the food, what does he do? He just keeps doing it, and he gets caught. What does it really show? That the fear of losing the food is greater pain than actually losing the food. Your fear is paralyzing and trapping you. My fear. We are short-sighted. We are complacent and comfortable. And everything that we need to do to change requires sacrifice, and we're too afraid to do it. Oh, God, I can't be on Facebook and stop using it. I wouldn't be socially included. Oh, I got to buy a new car because I got a crappy old car, and I won't be well respected without a new car. We're not willing to sacrifice. We have failed. We have utterly failed. We put up with greed. We put up with corruption. We all know it's there, and we do nothing. A few of us do something here and there, but we generally do nothing. Or at least, that's the story that's been told us so far. And before you say, oh, Steve, you're just a Luddite, you're against technology, you know? No, if it was the real deal, I'd be excited. I read Neuromancer as a kid. I loved it. The whole idea of plugging something into my head, and now I know Spanish, I know Latvian, I know Russian. Amazing, I'm all in. I'm all in if it was the real deal, if it was an honest deal. If we took control of the machines rather than them taking control of us. I'm all in, but experience unfortunately teaches me that what's going to happen when I plug in? Is it going to be like Nirvana and I just learn Spanish and everything I want? Nope. When I plug in, I'm going to have a complete surveillance unit in my head. Thank you, NSA and Snowden. Everything I do is going to be watched, monitored, checked out. Everything I think, everything I want to think, everything I feel. There's the possibility I'm going to put a controlling unit in my head. I don't know, maybe I'm going to be made to buy stuff from Facebook or advertisers of Coca-Cola. And for sure, you can bet on this, I'm going to have a marketing unit in my head. Absolutely. So I would take the deal if it were honest, but it is not honest, and it never has been. I want to augment humanity, but not under this system. And lastly and worstly, they're going to change the end user agreement on me, because they always do. I'm going to plug in thinking one thing, and then 2 months later, I'm going to get a new end user agreement, aren't I? I'm going to have to, so I know I can't unplug now, can I? These dreams are dreams in a messed up system. I fundamentally believe that new technology deployed in this broken system leads to reduction of humanity, and it always has, not the augmentation of humanity. Without humanity, without love, without compassion, without being human, without team human, which means us working together, empathizing together, our system is corrupt. And we can't implement a new technology on a corrupt system. It's the core is corrupt. All these problems are symptoms. The real problem is our absolute human values. And we're on a crash course for destruction if we don't change them. I honestly believe that the pitchforks are coming. If you don't believe me, the guy who invented capitalism, which has been so perverted now, Adam Smith again, the rate of profit is naturally low, not high, low in rich countries, and high in poor countries, and it is always highest in countries which are going fastest to ruin. Well, it sounds like the West to me. I feel like we're on the edge of a renaissance, but this time, the renaissance doesn't include us as humans. We're waiting around for the machines to take over. We're creating a renaissance. We're handing over the process to be excluded. So here we are in Riga, in Latvia, at this conference, talking about the future and innovation. And what can we do about it? So yesterday I had the opportunity to talk to Andris, the head of the LIA, Foreign Direct Investment Agency. And I asked him, hey, what's good about Latvia? What can we do? And he said, well, Steve, The great thing is that we're flexible and we're really innovative. I believe that about our people, about our community, about our society. But, he said, on the downside, we're really small. It's hard to make an impact. You know what I say? I say, great. Because it's really hard to change big companies. It's really hard to change the system globally. But actually, the fact that you're 2 million people, the fact that you have a huge amount of connectivity, I did some research on this, you have more phones than people, you have a huge internet connectivity, you're small, you're educated. You're actually the perfect size to create systemic change, to lead the world in something that actually has meaning. So I don't want to just talk about problems, but I did want to highlight those problems because we must face those problems. We must look back and say, why is the system broken? To fix them. So I wanted to give a few ideas I had on maybe ideas for action. What could we do in Latvia to change this? And the first thing I think we all have to do, if we believe those are problems, if we believe in Team Human, is withdraw your support from the corporate behemoths. Oh, we like to bitch about Facebook? Stop using it. Oh, but then I won't be socially inclusive. Well, I'm sorry. Stop using it. Don't trade in your car for a newer car. Just fix your old one. Stop supporting the corporate behemoths. Vote with your euros. It's powerful. Stop using something. It forces a change in behavior from the corporate behemoths. 2, you must accept sacrifice. Growth requires pain. You cannot grow without pain. It is that pain which challenges us and makes us better. You have to. Otherwise, we're those lazy sheep. 3, stop believing the corporate marketing. I know probably most of you here don't, but actually, most of the people do. Sadly, I don't know if it's education, the brainwashing, or whatever, we must share with these people that it is fake news. It's fake propaganda, it's fake messaging. It's fake. Yo, oh yeah, Foxconn cutting 60,000 jobs. Oh, no, that doesn't mean long-term job loss. Not at all. Of course it does. But you really think that Zuckerberg's sitting behind his desk going, oh, how can I make Steve help Steve get some more friends? No, he doesn't give a shit how many friends I have. He's trying to get money from me. Do start thinking about what we really want. Flight, the radio. These are inventions we created to actually bring humanity together. We dreamed of flight. We saw the birds. We thought, oh, what if I could go visit my relatives faster? What if I could talk to them easier? What if I could communicate better? When was the last time you were awed by a technology? Now it's just, oh, another version, another faster, a little speedier, a little cooler looking. It's in color orange. Start thinking about what we really want. Rethink education. Refuse education for employment training. I personally will do this, and yes, it's sacrifice, because what does education tell us? Oh, you're a bad parent unless you send your kid to an Ivy League or YASA or whatever, LSE and all these expensive colleges for 60,000 euro a year. You know what? I'm not doing it. It's crap. I'm opting out. I send my kids to a public school, and I'm not paying for that. There's so many alternatives now. There's online education, there's whatever. Opt out. Opt out, and they'll feel the pain. Escape virtual reality. Embrace your problems. It's like, oh, on Facebook, everybody's having the best time ever, and on Instagram, here's my beautiful pictures and blah, blah, blah. No. We have a consumer solution to everything, right? Midlife crisis, oh, buy a car, you'll get hot chicks. Oh my God, you know what? Let's just take some Xanax and down a bottle of vodka. Do you realize that 50% of the world's pharmaceuticals are consumed by 5% of the population, the United States? Yeah, solution to everything. No, they just pop a pill. No. Let things suck. Don't live in this virtual world where everything's in fairy la la land. Let them suck. I don't have time to tell the story of Buddha that I was going to tell, but anyway. Depends if they let me go over. Critically think. Really? I mean, embrace skepticism again. Challenge again. Challenge authority. We've been so afraid to do it. I swear to God, nobody critically thinks anymore. And if you disagree with somebody, it's like, oh, you're just a fascist or a right wing or a left wing or a neoliberal or a neocon or whatever. We just put labels on to cow you. So that you're afraid to say what you really think. Oh, do I like immigration or not? Oh, I got to be politically correct. Well, too bad. Rebuild your values. When was the last time you actually thought about what your value system was, and if they're good? Good values are reality-based, they're socially constructive, and they're immediately controllable. Honesty. I can control that. It's right now. It's value-based. I want to be honest with you. I'm not lying to you. This is how I really feel. I'm transparent. Bad values are superstitious or virtual. They're not controllable. Whoops. And they're not controllable. So, for example, popularity. Oh, I want to be popular. Is that controllable? No. Probably you think I'm a dork. Who knows? I think I'm cool. I spend all this effort. I'm on Instagram. I'm doing selfies. I'm an asshole. Bad values, extraction of wealth. Good values, peer-to-peer value creation. 8, do something, but take small steps. This is something I got from a conversation here yesterday, talking to a girl that was sitting there for lunch. Small steps. Don't try to boil the ocean all at once. It's tough. And here, we got 2 million people. What are we going to boil the ocean and change the system? No. Try to boil your teacup. Start local. Small local changes, you'll see, will start becoming viral and contagious. And then what do you have to do? You have to support others and get others to support you with these small local changes. Start thinking about peer-to-peer value creation rather than extraction. Start thinking about what can I do right now in my community to change education? What can I do right now in my workplace to embrace humanity instead? What can I do to change some values? How can I share that? I'm a little long in time, so I'm finishing. Well, my vision for you guys is to have a courage revolution. And I think Latvia is eminently placed to do this. You're flexible, you're innovative, you're connected, you can communicate well together, but you need courage. You need to identify, is this a problem or not? Are these issues we want to tackle or not? Can we succeed in this or not? I fundamentally believe that we are slaves to the tyranny of popular opinion that's been created and is dominating, be it financial, social, societal, educational. And unfortunately, it's damaging us because society must, Latvia must, the world must be an example of this. We must be based not just on the progress of technology. Not at all. We must be based on the development of consciousness and humanity. We must be team human based. We cannot, I stress this enough, we cannot progress a civilization, our society, and our community by giving a platform to cowards, a platform to poor values, to corruption, and to greed. We can't silence those fighting for disruption and fighting for change. We can't build a platform for society. You owe it to yourselves, you owe it to your kids, and you owe it to your grandkids. I think we have a human obligation to make this place a better world. We have to. And you guys are actually uniquely positioned to do that. Thank you very much.